Has it ever crossed your mind how the websites you visit were put together and what makes them work and behave the way they are? The social media, the online stores, and many more. Imagine having the power to go to any website and say, I can build something like that. Welcome to Vesqaro Academy. My name is Ahmed Al-Dalal, and this is the journey of becoming a web developer. See, everyone wants to offer the latest technology, and the web is no different. With 3D and virtual reality becoming more popular, the web is also getting ready for the exciting future of VR. Today, the web is a totally different universe. With the power of 3D graphics, we're able to explore virtual spaces and engage with content in ways we never thought possible. Imagine this. Instead of going to an ordinary online store that displays content in 2D, you can go to an online store that's powered by 3D graphics, where you can interact with the items like you are being in an actual store. For example, you can interact with a shopping cart, where you can push it to the front, turn it to the right, or turn it to the left. Or take an escalator to go from one floor to the other. Or interact with the products that are sold on that website and view the items from all angles without losing important details. And many more.
Three, two, one, go.
Just as 3D has revolutionized visual experiences, the integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning into the web offers transformative benefits, enhancing everything from personalization to automation. This will make online interaction more efficient and enjoyable. Take chatbots as an example. They can generate code snippets or provide solutions to coding challenges, effectively offering developers with code that can be integrated into their projects. For example, chatbots can interpret a developer's command, such as requesting for a specific task, by processing the request through predefined algorithms and code templates. They then generate and provide the developer with the code that aligns with the request, saving time and simplifying coding process. Here are some reasons why I think someone would consider learning web development. Someone who is looking for a job in technology. Web development can be financially rewarding. It offers flexibility and the ability to work anywhere with an internet connection, like work from home, or travel and work, for example. Web development is a sweet spot where tech passion meets a career. You can design and build cool websites and applications. VR, artificial intelligence, gaming, and 3D, in my opinion, are easier to learn if using the web technology. Web development is a dynamic field, so you'll never run out of cool stuff to learn. Web developers frequently engage in complex problem solving, which can be intellectually stimulating and rewarding. I think the job market loves web developers. They're always in high demand. The web is one of the most widely used platforms on the internet, and that makes it easy to reach a global audience. Web developers often start their own businesses, so they can be their own boss. This is a comprehensive and in-depth web development course designed specifically for absolute beginners. Now, I want to start by emphasizing that becoming a web developer is a journey. It's not something you can master in a couple of videos. That's why my course is here to take you through every step of the way. My primary goal with this course is to equip you with the skill set and knowledge necessary to excel in the world of web development. I aim to get you to a level where you can confidently use the skill set you'll acquire on this journey to earn money. You might be wondering, why did I create this course? Well, the main motivation behind it is simple. I wanted to make the world of computer programming accessible to everyone. especially those who can't afford higher education. I believe that anyone with a drive and determination should have the opportunity to make a living out of programming. If you believe in my mission and want to support this journey, I kindly ask you to share this video with anyone you think could benefit from it. By doing so, you'll help me reach more people and make a positive impact on their lives. So whether you're here to learn, to support, or both, I'm excited to have you with me on this web development journey. Let's get started and unlock the endless possibility that web development has to offer. The journey of becoming a web developer is 100% free of charge, and the software that we'll be using in the course will be also free. We will be looking for something that's available on the internet to use in the course. So the only thing you really need to join this journey is just a computer, whether it's a laptop, desktop, or a Mac. You just need a computer to join. The journey starts with 4 chapters. It will begin with HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. This is where you'll learn the foundation of web development, how to structure your content, and create the backbone of a web page. In Chapter 2, we will dive into CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets. In this chapter, you'll learn how to make your web pages look visually appealing and polished. Then you'll explore JavaScript in Chapter 3, a dynamic scripting language that adds interactivity and functionality to your web pages. After mastering the basics, in Chapter 4, you'll combine everything you've learned in Chapters 1, 2, and 3 to design and create a web page. Once we complete Chapter 4, I will announce what will Chapter 5 be about. The same thing with the chapters that will come after Chapter 5, and so on. To be React.js or AngularJS as an example. I will announce the topics and what will be covered when we get closer to those chapters. Please keep in mind that these videos are not pre-made. Some videos take longer time to make compared to other videos, depends on the complexity of the topic and other factors. Take this video as an example. I started working on it in August of 2023. And while recording this audio, it is in October of 2023. You might see this video posted in late October or early November of 2023. Once this video is posted, I'll start working on the content of the next topic, and so on. All I wanted to say is that these videos are made and posted right away. So please make sure to subscribe to this channel so you won't miss new videos when they're posted. As I mentioned, web development is a journey, so I encourage you to take it easy and have fun with this learning journey. Let's kick Chapter 1 off with, what is the internet? This might be too simple of a question, but it is important for us to understand where web development falls within the world of internet. To simplify the answer, let's say we had 2 cell phones. One with the phone number 999-9999 and the other one is 888-8888. Both are connected to the telephone network. With full reception, 999 makes a call to 888. 888 sees an incoming call from 999. 888 answers the call, and now we have an established connection between the 2 cell phones. What happens now is that data, which in this case is the sound that is transmitted from one phone to the other. Now let's keep this example in mind because it will help you in the next examples. Let's have a look at another diagram, but this time, instead of a telephone, it's going to be an internet diagram. Let's say there were 4 internet towers in 4 different countries. Let me show you what I mean by towers and what they look like. Let's search for wireless internet service provider. Let's go to Wikipedia. And this is one of those towers I was talking about. Let's have a look at some more images on Google. So when you're in the city next time, just look around and see if you can spot one of these. Okay, now back to our internet diagram. Again, let's say there were 4 internet towers in 4 different countries. One in Thailand, one in Iraq, one in Canada, and one in the United States. Let's say a household in Iraq had 6 devices connected to the Wi-Fi, and 2 cell phones connected directly to the internet tower. A call center in Canada with 3 desktop computers and a cell phone connected to the Wi-Fi. In the US, there are 2 locations. One is a server with 2 computers, and the other location is a call center with 3 desktop computers and a cell phone. In Thailand, 4 cell phones directly connected to the internet tower. And finally, all towers are connected. The connection could be through cables under the oceans, or wirelessly through satellite technology, or some other technologies. So basically, the internet is a huge global network where billions of computers are connected to send and receive data like text, images, and videos. But these computers can't just simply send and receive data like that. Referring back to the cell phones examples that we talked about earlier, to be able to send and receive sound from one phone to the other, you must first establish a connection, which is a phone call. Same thing with the internet. Computers must be connected to one another to send and or receive data. Let's have a look at this example. Let's take 2 devices, as long as they have the capability to connect to the internet. Whether it's a laptop, tablet, cell phone, or a smart washing machine. In this example, I will use 2 desktop computers. Think about the cell phone examples again. When you want to make a phone call, you must have a phone number for your cell phone, and you need to know the other phone's number. Similarly with computers. But instead of phone numbers, they use Internet Protocol address, or IP address. You can say that an IP address of a computer is like a phone number of a cell phone. Let me show you what these IP addresses look like. First, let's look at this simple counting example. If I ask you to count from 0 to 9,999, you will end up counting 10,000 times. In other words, you'll have 10,000 unique numbers. Here, we start counting from 0. 0 is your first number, and we're going to continue counting until 9,999. Now let's add dots between the numbers. The values are still the same, but just dots separating each number. An IP address format is similar. 4 numbers separated by dots. Here's what I'm talking about. Number dot number dot number dot number. Each number, instead of 0 to 9, the number ranges from 0 to 255. There's a reason behind this number in computer science. We'll be talking about this more later in the course. The number starts at 0, and it counts as normal from 0, 1, and when it reaches 9, instead of starting at 0 again, it continues counting to 10 until it reaches 255. Here's how it works. As you can see now, we reach 255. The next number increments by 1, and then this number starts at 0 again. And there we go, 255.255.255.255. And this is the maximum number. And this is an example of an IP address. So with all the combinations that we just talked about, we can come up with around 4.2 billion numbers. And that gives us around 4.2 billion unique IP addresses. And this type of IP address is called IP version 4 or IPv4. With all the devices we have around the globe that can connect to the internet, we are running out of available IP addresses, and with 4.2 billion, we'll not be able to support the growing demand for devices with the internet connection capability, from smart light bulbs, smart cars, to smartphones as examples. Today, most devices can connect to the internet. There was a talk about IPv5, but this version never made it to the market. So IPv6 was introduced, and with its new format that contains letters and numbers, it can support a super large number of unique IP addresses. And if you're like me, you don't know what this number reads, it's 340 undecillion unique IP addresses, or 340 billion. Luckily, we don't have to remember all these IP addresses, because the internet has a feature called Domain Name System, or DNS. DNS allows you to type the address of a computer in a way a human can understand, like youtube.com, google.com, or facebook.com. And those human text will be translated to an IP address that a computer machine can understand. Now we have some understanding on what an IP address is. Let's assign IP addresses to these two computers. To establish a connection, typically Transmission Control Protocol or TCP is used. TCP is like a postal service for the internet. It ensures that data such as web pages, emails, and files is sent accurately in the correct order between your computer and the other device on the internet. It's responsible for making sure online activities like web browsing and sending emails work smoothly and without errors. To establish a TCP connection, a three-way handshake process is used to ensure that both devices agree to establish a reliable connection before data exchange begins. The process begins with initiating device sending a request to the other device. The other device receives the request and sends back an acknowledgement. And the initiating device sends the final acknowledgement to the other device. Once this three-step handshake is completed, the TCP connection is established, and both devices can begin reliably send and receive data. Let's go back to our internet diagram. So based on what we just discussed, almost all devices, including the towers, must have an IP address to be on the internet. Let's look at what we just discussed in a different example. Let's take a messaging app on a smartphone. And the same app, but a desktop version on a laptop. Typically, these apps are programmed to automatically connect to a specific IP address. And normally the other side is a server side. You can think of a server side like just a computer that has more storage capacity and more powerful hardware, but they're still just computers. I'll explain server side a little more shortly in this video. Now the initiating device is making a connection to the other computer, using the same protocol, TCP with three-way handshake. So the smartphone now is connected to the server computer. The laptop will connect in the same way using TCP. Notice that the two apps on the client machines did not connect directly. Instead, they connect to the server and then use the server as a transmitter. We will understand the purpose more later in the course. So messages go to the server first before they get sent to the other device. Now, with that example in mind, let's change the application and use one of the browsers like Google Chrome to access the web. So similar to what we did in the messaging, now we're using another application. So the browser is basically just an app, serving a different purpose than messaging apps and other apps. This is where our focus will be in this journey. The internet is huge. The web is one of the platforms used on the internet, and we are going to learn a lot about it in this journey. Let's run Google Chrome. Let's go to youtube.com. After I pressed enter, Domain Name System, or DNS, will translate youtube.com to an IP address. This IP address is the location of the computer where YouTube videos are stored and what will be presented on your screen. There are two sides involved in this case. A client side where we went and entered youtube.com, and the server side is where the videos are saved and all the information about them like description, comments, number of likes, and many more. Basically, whatever you see on youtube.com is stored on the server side. There are some exceptions and we will discuss them later in the course. This is what a server side looks like. There are computers with more storage, better hardware to support a lot of requests like the one we're trying to do right now by accessing youtube.com. Imagine how many people are accessing youtube.com at the same time. We will talk about the details later in the course. Think of a client-side anything with a screen and allows you to see web content, like a web browser in a Tesla vehicle as an example, or a web browser on a PS5. TCP is used in establishing a connection between the browser of your device and the server side where web content is stored. Once connection is established, another protocol of the internet called Hypertext Transfer Protocol, or HTTP, or HTTPS, will be used for transferring application data. TCP is used for establishing the connection, and HTTP or HTTPS is used for transferring data between your device and the server side. This technology was invented by a British scientist in the late 1980s. So after a TCP connection is established, web content, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files will be sent to the browser that initiated the TCP connection. Here's where you can see HTTPS. So all these videos, text, styles, and many more are stored on the server side are presented here on the screen because the server side sent them when we accessed youtube.com. There are three commonly recognized web development categories: front-end, back-end, and full-stack. Front-end development focuses on the visual aspects and user interaction of a website or web application that users see and interact with directly, like what you saw when we accessed youtube.com. Back-end development involves the server side of web applications, handling the behind-the-scenes operations and data management. Full-stack development encompasses both the front-end and back-end aspects of web application, making developers proficient in both areas. The aim of this journey is full stack. Our first chapters of this course will focus on the front-end development. You can start with front-end. If you like web development, you can continue with the back-end. Alright, so what do you need to get started? As I mentioned in the beginning, all you need is just a computer, whether it's a laptop, desktop, or a Mac. But you need some software to run these things. Of course, you need an operating system. In this course, I will be using Microsoft Windows. Please feel free to use Mac OS or Linux, but in this course, I'll be using Microsoft Windows. You'll need a browser application. You can use any browser, but in this course I will start with using Google Chrome. I might use a different browser later, but for now I will start with Google Chrome. And you need a text editor. Please feel free to use any text editor, but I will use Sublime Text Editor during this course. Let me show you how to download and install Sublime Text Editor on your machine. Let's Google Sublime Text Editor. It's this one, sublimetext.com. You can go to the download tab and find the version that's compatible with your operating system. But I will download it directly from the main page. And now run the .exe file that you just downloaded from the website. Checking this box is just a personal preference. You can leave it unchecked if you want. Hit next, hit install, and hit finish. Now search for Sublime Text application on your computer. If you see this application, then you have installed Sublime Text successfully. Let's run the application. Don't worry about it saying unregistered. You can ignore it if you want. And this concludes topic 1 of chapter 1. In the next video, we will start looking into HTML. Again, please make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any new videos from the channel. And if you liked this video, please make sure to hit the like button and see you soon. Bye for now.